Welcome to week 2 of our tracking training series. This is an exciting week. We should start seeing the natural skills of our dogs start to develop as we really dive into the foundation of the next 5 weeks of our training. I'm Tracker Mike with Michigan Deer Tracking Hounds, and this week we focus on scent pads and laying lines. I do suggest that you watch this video all the way through. At the end, we will give you some perspective as to the reasons why we are doing what we're doing and what exactly we are trying to teach the dog. One of the foundations of our program is the format that we use. We're always going to use a format where we're going to take a step back and then we're going to return to where we finished the previous lesson, and then we are going to move on to something new and more challenging for the dog to learn. So our step backwards in this lesson is going to be returning to the basic game. As we get out to the field, we're going to play some fetch, some throw, some running, dragging around, just really kind of amp the dog up to play the game. Much like at a shot site, at the beginning of every track, you're going to start with creating a scent pad. It's a way to get the dog to target on the scent that you want. You're really going to grind it into the ground. You're going to get that scent on the ground, as well as you're creating some ground scent by simply disturbing the ground. Remember, as you approach the scent pad or the shot site, you're going to do everything the same. Approach with the dog on the same side, with their nose pointing in the direction the track is moving. Introduce them to the scent pad. Off we go with a find it command. After the track, a little bit of play, a little bit of excitement, just to keep the dog interested in knowing they did a good job. As your dog starts to settle into this routine, it's going to be less necessary to grind the foot as you start the track, and you'll only be doing the scent pad and then simply dragging it along on your track. If you've enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe below. That will get you notifications when we put out our next video in this series. As a demonstration with a different dog, we're going to approach the shot site, introduce them to the scent pad, offer the find it command, and off we go. In training, you want to assure that your dog always wins the game. They always complete the track. Keep it fun for them. If they struggle, go ahead and give them a little guidance, but try to let them work it out on their own. And again, at the end, lots of praise, lots of play, deer leg becoming their favorite toy. Hopefully, if you guys have made it this far, it means that you are interested in the more technical aspects of tracking and the reasons behind why we're doing what we're doing. First and foremost, we're trying to extend the game that we started with just the basic fetch to make the lines a little bit longer and a little bit more challenging for the dog. We're going to continue to reiterate that find it command so the dog learns what we are asking of them. A primary lesson that we're trying to teach the dog is that when we say find it, that there is in fact something out there to find. That's why we're starting with these very short drags with the dog in sight so they can actually see that we are putting something out there for them to find. I think this is a very important aspect of training because it's going to build that confidence in your dog that when you say find it, that in fact there is something out there. As we start out with the dog in view where they can see us lay the game, you're going to notice that when the dog can see you, they're going to have a general tendency to use their eyes and to run to where they saw you leave the object. And then they're going to slowly sniff around and find it when they're really close. As you get longer and longer in your tracks this week, and you're going to disappear out of sight, what you're going to notice is your dog is going to likely move quickly to where they last saw you using their eyes, but then what we're doing is we're taking that away from them. This is our new step. We're taking their eyes away from them and forcing them to use their nose to complete the track. This is really going to start building their knowledge of what their job is, because at that time they have nothing else to use but their nose. Once your dog starts to realize the purpose of the scent pad, that you're introducing them to a scent and you want them to follow that scent, then you can start leaving your dog in the car and laying the track with the entire track out of their vision. Now, I firmly believe that growing the distance of the track is far more important than growing the age of the track. As we discussed in the past, there's certain things that we can control and certain things that we can't. We can control how old the track is when we put our dog on it. We cannot control how far the animal actually went. If you find that your dog is struggling to get into the game or they're just more food driven, you can go ahead and bait the scent pad as well as the beginning portion of the track. Lay some treats around the scent pad so the dog has to sniff around that scent pad. Then lay a treat about a foot, then 2 feet, so on and so forth until you're not using treats anymore. Also, instead of using a deer leg at the end of the track, you can use a treat box. This treat box will help you preserve your deer legs for longer periods of time because you won't have to leave your deer legs out in the woods. If you develop the habit now, your dog will start to recognize that that treat box is the target, what they're looking for. And then when they reach it, they are going to start looking to you to open the treat box. But you can use whatever most drives your dog. If it's the deer leg, use the deer leg. If it's a tug, use a tug. If this treat box works for you, I would recommend using a treat box. So your track distance format is going to be as follows for the week. Your first day, you're going to do a 5, a 10, and a 20-yard track. You're going to do 3 tracks in a day. Then the next day, you're going to take a step back, return to where you finished, and then take a step forward. So day 2 is going to be 10, 20, 40 yards. Day 3 is going to be 20, 40, 80 yards. Day 4, 40, 80, 160, and so on, until you get into that range where you're going to be in the 600 yard or farther range. Well, that wraps up week 2 for us. We will leave some links in the description to some of the equipment that we use, as well as to our Facebook page if you'd like to join us there, and we hope to see you back in week 3.